Well, welcome back to the channel. Today is June 13th, 2026, and we're sometime in the morning. Today I want to go over Shibu Inu. Ticker symbol is SHIB. But before we get started, I just want to give you a warning. I am an amateur trader and investor. I am not a professional at this. I have a day job that doesn't involve finances. So that means please take what I'm saying with that in mind. What I like to do is just go over what I see in the charts. I tend to be more of a long term investor. So what that means is that I play over months rather than over, say, a day or a week. So just keeping that in mind when I'm, going through the charts is I'm looking to make long-term plays on this particular asset. So Shibu Inu, all I can tell you about this chart, it's so bad it looks good. Um, have you ever seen a movie, that's really bad, but it was so bad it made you laugh and made you, you know, I think most of you probably have. So let's go over Shibu Inu. So Shibu Inu has been around since 2021, and on this Binance chart, it might have been around sooner, but this is just the chart that I found that has the most history. It started off pretty high, and then it had a 3 month bear market, about 92 days, and it went about minus 89%, and then had a very quick bull market, specifically 1 month. And it was about a 1,630% gain. Then it proceeded to enter into a bear market, and this bear market lasted 19 months, 590 days, and it went down about 95%. Then it started a bull run, and this bull run lasted 99 months, 271 days, and it had about a 728% gain. This was around June of 2023. And so therefore it ended in March of 2024. Then you had another bear market, and there I would debate whether this is really a bear market because but I'm gonna call it a bear market. So for 4 months and 152 days, it went down 72%. One of the reasons why I call it a bear market because you had several lower highs, lower lows, and so that's why I consider it a bear market. However, I this almost could be like the same move maybe. Now, starting at about here on August 2024 till November 2024, you had 3 months and 165% gain on Shiba Inu. And then it starts the current bear market that we're in, which started about December 2024. And all through December 25, it's been in a bear market. And we're still in 2026, and it's in a bear market. And we're currently at about 552 days, minus 86%, and still counting. There's nothing in this particular chart showing that we're in turnaround and that we're starting to bull. Now, if we take the longest bear market that we have on record for this particular asset, it was 590 days, minus 95%. Now, what I did is I drew a couple of circles here. And what I did is I have a bar here, and this is minus 95%. And that's sitting at about 0.0000176. And I just took a guess. So this first bar is exactly 590 days. And so from here, if price were to come down 95%, then this would kind of be where you expect it to go up. However, I don't, looking at the chart, we're either going to go longer or it's going to go shorter, and we'll probably end up here. But I'm not going to make any predictions where and here it's going to come to stop. We are technically in what we call price discovery because this is the lowest that Shiba Inu has ever been. So we have no idea where it's going to stop. And since we have no idea where it's to stop, it's hard to really speculate. But this is just kind of a just for grins thinking here. If it takes longer to get to this point, if it does reach minus 95%, say somewhere around here, then this point would be at about 616%, and that would throw us at about May of 2027. Therefore, this particular chart would say, oh, we've got about another year of a bear run we until we hit the bottom. I'm not sure what's going to happen. How I'm going to show you some other indicators to kind of point to. It's kind of nebulous right now. There's nothing in the charts that says that Shiba Inu is going to have a turnaround. But I did want to kind of go over. Okay, so you have this coin. It has 6 zeros beyond the decimal point, and we're talking about it maybe going to this 00176. And you're probably thinking in your head, why should I be interested in this coin? Well, this has been around since 2021. It's survived 3 bear markets, and all the previous gains on the bear markets have been pretty significant gains. The shortest gain was here because the bear market was short and it kind of went up again. But if you look in the past, you've had quite some significant gains. It's definitely going downward. You have this downsloping trend line. This particular big trend line here is only 2 touch points. I probably should have drawn it a little differently. You really need 3 touch points for a trend line to be considered a trend line. This one has more. You've got about 4 touch points, and that's just because it really struggled to get past this point on the last bull run. Therefore, what this particular trend line here represents is a point of interest where if price were to, even if it was to come up to here, let's say, let me get my drawing tool over here, even if it was to start coming down to here and kind of making its way up, we think this would be a point of interest because it would struggle to get past this trend line. Doesn't mean it can't. It just means that this would be a point of struggle. You may see some sideways action here, or it could just blow by through it. We don't know. The most explosive move we saw with Shiba Inu was early on in its days, which was this period where the bull market just lasted 3 months, and you had these really. I'm gonna draw this up. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Let me erase that. We had these really. This is the daily chart here. So if you look at it here, these are big jumps, big bars, little sideways, big bars. Okay, so you could, because this is such a low cap coin, it can get very volatile very, very fast. And the reason why I mention that is this is the type of coin where you kind of got to pick a line, because if you aren't already in the coin, before you maybe notice that it's running, it could already be here. Therefore, at some point you have to decide, is there, for example, have you reached I wouldn't say a bottom, but let's just say you've reached definitely some resistance. For example, here, I have some money where I entered here, I have some money where I entered here, and therefore, I'm down on this token right now, and it could go down a lot farther. However, if it is successful to get past this trend line, even going from here to here, and let's say it never gets higher, that's still a significant gain. So let's say it gets here to here, we're talking that's a 308% gain. And there's nothing that says that it has to stop at this trend line. That's just a good first take profit point. And we've been in the bear market for so long, I don't think it has another year. However, to be clear, there's nothing that really says that the bear market looks like it's almost over. And we'll take a look at that next. To understand the explosiveness is, let's say theoretically that it is another year. Let's say we get to 2027 next year, say May or June, and it goes from up here and here. If you put $10 down here and you sold at this 616% gain, that's $704 for just $10. So that's how explosive it can be. All right. Now, I'm going to bring up the moving averages here, and I'm hoping with all these drawings, it's not going to look too bad. So first moving average is the 8. And I'm going to, let's zoom in here. Okay. As you can tell, price is fairly staying above the 8, but recently it started to rise above the 8. If we throw on the 20, it has not risen past the 20, but the 20 is on top of the 8. And then if you go to the 50, the 50 is up here, and it's fair distance from the 20. And then if you have the 200 is up here. What does this tell us about these moving averages? Well, they're in the wrong formation. You really want the 8 to be on top. You want the 20 to be in the middle and the 50 to be on the bottom, all rising up. As you can tell in Shiba Inu, even in the bear market, you sometimes get the price going above the 8, but it can't sustain it for very long. And it then just collapses and goes down again. And here, this, like right here, this was a good sign. We were rocking. Notice how the 8 got above the 20 and the 20 was above the 50, but it wasn't to be. It collapsed again. Now it's going to try to make another move up. So is there a chance that this is the bottom? Maybe. Maybe not. We will just have to wait and see. But that's the state of the moving averages on the daily chart for right now. So I'm going to close that, and let's go over to the other chart I usually like to use, which is the chart where I have the relative strength index, the stochastic RSI, and the money flow index, and the MACD. All right, so I am right now on the monthly chart, and this is the relative strength index on the monthly. And this measures overbought, oversold. As you can tell in all of Shibu Inu's history on the monthly chart, it has never reached oversold. Oversold is above this 70 line. I'm sorry, overbought is in this 70 line. This means that when price reaches above that 70 line, you always want to consider probably taking profits. When the price gets below the 30, that's considered oversold. And on the monthly chart, as you can tell, we've never reached those areas. And this kind of can be pretty typical on a monthly chart. It very rarely gets below 30 or above 80. When it does, that means that asset is exploding. And you see this a lot on the stock market. From a trend perspective, since here, which is the last bull market, we've just been going down. And I really would like another touch. But as you can see, we are at the lowest that we've ever seen the RSI. And it isn't going above this trend line, though it's only a 2-touch trend line. So we're just going to just say, yeah, things are down. Okay, so I'm going to remove that. Our stochastic RSI, which measures momentum on the monthly chart, is dead. you have momentum when you cross above the 20 with the blue on top and the red on the bottom. You're not even close to crossing the 20. Right now, we're sitting at 3.85. So, no excitement there. We have the money flow index. It reached oversold. It got below the 20. It came back in. What does this tell us? This is telling us that people are still buying Shiba Inu. And this is one thing that I want you to keep in mind about this coin is it's pretty much available on all major exchanges. Coinbase, Kraken, it's still, I don't know what happened there. It's still available on those exchanges. So they're still trading on this. It hasn't been removed from those exchanges. I haven't heard any news that they're going to. There are people still going in and out of Shibu Inu, even though it's such a, it's since even though the price is that low. And I've even heard rumors that they are, I think for some reason I have accidentally went to the wrong chart. Let me go back. I went to total. Okay. So, all right, back to the chart. So there's all I'm saying is there's buying and selling here on the monthly. The MACD, we are on the bearish side of the MACD. Notice where this bottom, this is the bullish on the top. We are on the bearish side, and as you can tell, these moving averages, they aren't converging, they aren't getting closer to each other. The histogram is blah, it's going up and down, up and down. There's no clear sign of reversal. This is maybe a little bit higher, but it's not like there's nothing to really show. Oh, we're seeing a reversal trend. So that's the monthly chart. I'm going to erase this line here. Let's go to the weekly. Okay. All right. Now, as you can tell, this is our last bull right there. And since then, we have been going down. And we have not been able to get across this trend line. This is a better trend line because it has at least 3 touches. I'm going to consider this a touch. Actually, if you draw it like this, right there, as you can tell, the RSI got above this trend line. However, though, this is where it's kind of funny, and this is where the badness of the chart comes in. This is bearish divergence. As you can tell, the RSI came up a little bit higher, came to this point, but this point, as you can tell, is actually higher. So therefore, this went higher, but I'm starting to really feel stupid here. It's I mean, price is going down, but the RSI is going up. That's actually the opposite. That's actually bullish divergence. So that's interesting. So Shiba Inu is making a lower low. It's the morning, so I guess that's why I need some coffee or caffeine. So as you can tell, price is going down, but the RSI is going up. That's called bullish divergence. So maybe that's our one good sign here is in the background RSI saying, oh, something's priming. Now with bullish divergence, it doesn't tend to be immediate. I mean, in the stock market, it can go on for a long time, months and a year or so is not uncommon. On crypto, it does seem to be more shorter term. Bitcoin has bearish divergence all the time, and it lasts just a few months. So that's promising, but it's not. It's just something to look out for. It could still continue to go down for a while, but that bullish divergence, that can be exciting. Assets that have bullish divergence usually have really big, strong momentum trend runs. We may break above that trend line, but there's no guarantee, and we don't know when it's going to break above it. All we know is that we're currently in a bullish divergence. If this RSI goes higher and this price still goes down, oh boy, something's going on. Okay. Now, if you look at momentum, as you can tell, there is no divergence here. Well, actually, there is. If you think of, well, no, it's not. I mean, if you look here, price is going down, momentum is going down, but we haven't reset. We call it a reset when the stochastic RSI gets below the 20, and you have a crossover of the blue line going above the red line, but it has to occur above the 20. We therefore have not reset. And for the money flow index, it's kind of interesting. You could say it's had a bullish momentum too. You have, if you take your line here, as the price has been going up, and we take it at this point, look at that, you're going up. So you have bullish divergence as well. On the MACD, if you take a look, it's, again, from a moving average perspective, it's still on the bearish side, and it's looking like it's going down into the red histogram area. Therefore, the MACD is not saying, oh, we're seeing a reversal in, anytime soon. We're going to have a white cross. You want this white to be on top, but it looks like we're going to have another cross down. And I don't know how long that cross down is going to happen. It could go like this. It could just be a little curve like that. I don't know. We'll just have to see. It's just something that I can't predict or give any insight on. All right. So we've gone through all that. We see a little bit of bullish divergence in Shiba Inu. That's fine. I mean, that's all good. But what do we do from a trading perspective? So here's my advice. If you're not already in Shiba Inu and you're considering getting back into this coin, maybe you saw it in earlier bull runs and you were kind of interested and you like the idea of being able to put a little bit of money and, getting over 50,000 tokens. Because $10 is, at this point, is about 50,000 tokens. Give or take a few thousand. What I would do is this is bullish right now, but for it to really be considered a reversal, you've got to get above here. Okay. Therefore, if you want, you could take a chance and get in here somewhere around here and hope that it's going to come across this line about here. You could see it just make a lower high. I would not be surprised if, I'm not expecting on this particular run for Shiba Inu to cross back up on this line. The reason why is, look at the moving averages. While the 8 is going up, the 20 is still saying, no, it's, that's a pretty sharp angle. But the price getting above the 20 and crossing this particular point here would be a higher high. And that would be something to look out for. So you may, if it does get above this price, this might be a good entry point if you're not currently in. This is at about 60559. If Shiba Inu does this, it hits this 20, it comes back down. I still think any buys in this area are not necessarily bad buys. I would start scaling in around here. I've already started scaling in at a higher rate. But if you're not in Shiba Inu right now, anywhere in this area I think would be an okay point to scale in. Just keep in mind, you could see some more downside. While the bullish divergence is a nice thing, there is no guarantee that in the short term it's going to cause price to explode. That's what I think about Shiba Inu. Hope this helps you out, and I guess what we need to do is maybe in a few months we can come take a look and see if it hits that trend line or if it goes higher. I hope you and your family have a blessed day, and I hope that this upcoming bull market that's coming, right now we're in a bear. Just keep in mind this is where you can make your money. Uh, don't don't. The best thing I can say is you are going to have to take a little bit of a risk. You can't expect to time the exact bottom of any of these particular assets like Shiba Inu. So my best advice is pray to your Lord Jesus Christ and ask for guidance and just say, hey, is this a good time to get into this particular coin? And see if you see if a good feeling comes over you. And as always in your prayers, ask for patience and insight and wisdom. And I hope that God blesses you with that wisdom. And I hope you have a great day.